Welcome everyone. Welcome ThinkCapital community. Today, I've got a really good presentation for you about gambling. So I'm just going to wait until the room fills up. Let me know as soon as you guys join. Introduce yourself, where you're from, how long you've been trading, and if you struggle with gambling, this session is for you. So we'll just wait for more people to join. Let me see if the team can provide the link. There we go. Thank you very much. And we'll be starting in just a few minutes, guys. All right. Fantastic. It's good to see you guys. Hello, Asim. Alhamdulillah, I'm good. How are you? Hey, Mark. Hey, Tanjul. Hey, D. Good evening, Pin. Good to see you again this week. I'm glad you made it. All right. Let me go ahead and share my screen with you all, and then we'll start. All right. So if you can see my screen, let me know. Just type it in the chat. All right. I hope you guys got your notebooks today, because I'm going to be going in. I'm going to give you guys a lot of details. I'm going to give you guys a lot of information, but it's going to be information that has helped my clients so much. And I want to be able to do that for you. So again, let me ask you guys something. Yeah. And you got to be honest here. Do you ever feel like your trading is more like you're in a casino, you're pulling the slot machine rather than actually running a business? Because most traders don't admit to it, but the truth is, if your decisions aren't structured, you're basically gambling. And here's the scary part, that gambling habits in trading don't just hurt your account, they destroy your confidence, your patience, your ability to grow long term. And in this session, what I want to show you, what I'm about to show you, is exactly how to stop these hidden gambling behaviors before they actually ruin you, and how to actually replace them with a proper professional system. I'm going to walk you guys through the neuroscience, NLP, and practical trading rules from real examples from my clients that I've coached who've broken free from gambling. So by the end, you're going to know exactly how to protect your capital and your mindset, and finally start moving towards consistent payouts. So why should you listen to me? Now, I've been able to coach over 120 traders, helping them secure more than $20 million in funding and collectively pull over $2.5 million in payouts. And the important part here is that most of these traders, they weren't lacking a strategy. They were lacking control. And I've been there too. I know the frustration of pressing and clicking the button, and I know it's wrong, but I keep doing it. I can't stop. And that's why I built systems based on psychology, NLP, and neuroscience to make discipline a default. And I don't teach theory. Yeah. I install systems. And that's what we're going to do today. So the real problem is that you're not risk seeking, you're actually dopamine seeking. And that's going to hurt because your brain is wired to love unpredictability. And think about it. Why do you get, why do people get addicted to slot machines? It's because the win is random. And trading is the same when you think about it. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes you almost win, but it's those near misses that spikes the dopamine even more. And without proper rules, then your brain will trade for stimulation, not because of edge, not because of rules, but because of stimulation. That's why intelligent people, even they tend to struggle because it's not about more knowledge. Smart people, they blow accounts even though they have great strategies. So it's not about knowledge, is it? It's about neurochemistry. It's what happens in here. So what do we do, guys? Well, we create a system that forces dopamine to come from process, not impulse. That's where consistency begins. Yeah. Now, we need to draw a line in the sand between gambling and being a professional. So if you're entering trades before confirmation, if you're doubling down after a loss, if you don't have a written trading plan, you're gambling. It's that simple. Because professionals, they do the opposite. They wait for the setups, they use fixed risk, and they log every trade. These are what profitable traders are doing. One of my clients once told me that he said, I didn't realize I was gambling because I had my charts open. And I said to him that charts don't make a trader, systems do. So from this moment, you can ask yourself before every trade, am I trading or am I gambling? If it's not in your plan, it's gambling. Full stop. Now, I want to explain why willpower doesn't work. When you're in this state of emotion, when you're in tilt, especially after a loss or after seeing a setup move without you, your prefrontal cortex here, it shuts down. This is the part of your brain that handles logic and discipline. So you start to rationalize. You say, oh, just one more trade and I'll get it back. Does that sound familiar? This is where NLP and CBT come in. Yeah. Where with NLP, we want to preload scripts. So we want to start using language like If price hasn't tagged my level, then I stay away. And with CBT, we catch the thought. It's about catching the thought and labeling it. So when you say things like, I need to win it back, you need to replace it with, I can't control outcomes, but I can control rules. See how this makes you less dependent on willpower because you're installing language and thought patterns that activates automatically and repetitively. So I want to give you guys an anti-gambling operating system. Yeah. If say I want you to stop thinking about tips. Yeah. I want you to start thinking about advice. Yeah. Or hacks. And I want you guys to start thinking about an OS system, an operating system. Yeah. It's 4 layers: plan, protocol, proof, and protection. So I want you guys to plan your setups, plan your risk, and your invalidations. And protocol is, these are your daily rules. These are your limits and lockouts. Proof, this is where you're gathering evidence. This is where journaling comes in. This is where having scorecards and your metrics. And fourthly is protection. It's the environment and using software, using tech in order to create guardrails, in order to remove distractions. When you stack these together, it's almost impossible to gamble. It's like putting child locks on your brain. And the good news is that you don't need to be perfect. You just need to the system to be stronger than your urges. Yeah, that's right, Pete. That's right, Pin. The 4 Ps. I told you guys I'm going to be giving you the systems. I'm going to give you guys exactly what you need to do. So let's talk about planning. Yeah, let's talk about the first one. And that is in defining your edge so that your emotions don't, because your plan is your shield. Yeah. If it's not written down, your brain will rewrite it in the heat of the moment. It's so true, right? So write your setups, your entry, your confirmations, your invalidations. Write your risk to reward thresholds. Write your no trade conditions, times, patterns, days when you simply don't enter the market. This needs to be clear. One client called this his rule book. And when he started treating it like law, not a suggestion, his gambling urges dropped massively. I personally call these SOPs, standard operating procedures or standard operating protocols. If it's not in your book or your SOP, then it shouldn't be on your chart. It's that simple. Now let's talk about the second protocol, which is, yeah, the second one is protocol. How many trades per session? How much can you lose before you stop? What happens after a loss? Answer these questions in the chat for me. I'll ask you again. So, how much can you lose before you stop trading? How many trades, how many volume of trades do you take in one session? And what happens after you take a loss? Let me know in the chat. One says, I like that we can also include a no trade rule and not just having the rules for entering the trade. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Do you have a cooldown? Do you know how to cool down when you're feeling emotional, when you're not sure, when you miss the trade and you feel frustrated? Professionals, they set max trades, they set daily stop losses, mandatory breaks, scheduled breaks, and they use pre-trade checklists. Okay. Now, this might sound very boring to you, but boring is what saves your accounts. Boring is what keeps you profitable. Every checklist you tick slows you down just enough to break the gambling loop. That friction, yeah, that's what keeps you funded. And your environment is either your best friend or your biggest enemy. If you sit staring at charts all day, you're going to invent things. You're going to make up trades out of the blue. So make sure you use alerts. Make sure that you step away. Let the market, let price come to your levels. Let it come to you. Block distractions. Get rid of those apps, websites, even your P&L. Get rid of it. You shouldn't be looking at your P&L when you're trading. And most importantly, use tools within your trading platforms to lock yourself out after you've hit your daily stop, after you've hit your limits. The reality is, and the truth is, you can't gamble if you physically can't click. Yeah, so you got to outsmart your own brain. Now let's talk about risk management tactics. Yeah, let's get really practical here. Set a fixed percent per trade. Yeah, a fixed percentage risk per trade, 0.5% or 1% max, and install a hard daily stop, let's say at -2R, and set a weekly drawdown cap. You need to use platforms. The tools on platforms are great these days. You can cap your position size, you can set leverage limits, disable one-click trading. Okay, this is an important one. Disable it. And you use the lockouts after your daily stop has been hit. One trader I work with calls this his dead man's switch. After a loss, he has to run through his checklist and take a break before he can even trade again. Yeah. So do you have a checklist? Do you have a checklist for after a loss? This is my checklist I have to complete. Do you have that? Most of you don't, do you? You have an entry checklist, but do you have a post-loss checklist? Yeah. This isn't weakness, it's professionalism. It's how pilots, surgeons, athletes operate. And why should your trading be different to these other professionals? Now, I want to teach you this 90-second urge protocol, which is based on neuroscience. When the urge hits, you think you have to act. You get that urge and that you think that you have to act, but guess what? You don't. Now, urges, they rise and fall in about 90 seconds. Yeah. If you can survive that wave, you have more chances of being in control. You win. 90 seconds. And here's the protocol. Okay. Box breathing, 4-second breath in, 4-second hold, 4-second breath out, 4-second hold. And again, you start again, 4-second breath in, 4-second hold, and do this for 90 seconds. If you can do this, you're going to avoid over 80% of impulsive mistakes. And during this period, label the feeling. Label it like this is an urge. I feel the urge to break my rules. I feel the urge to close my trade early. I feel the urge to revenge trade. I feel the urge to FOMO. This is just acknowledge it, label it as an urge, not a trading signal. Yeah. Just because you feel like you want to doesn't mean it's a valid signal. Then check your list. If it's not a 10 out of 10, you don't enter. If it doesn't tick all the boxes, no trade. It's that simple. This tiny pause, this 90-second pause reboots your brain from fight or flight back to rational, calm, composure. So you don't need discipline forever. You just need it for 90 seconds. Now, rules, they stick when they're tied to your identity. And you've probably heard me talk about this before. You got to write down your trader identity. Like, I am the trader who always respects my daily stop. I am the trader that walks away after taking 2 losses. I am the trader that labels my urges and doesn't take them as trade signals. I am the trader that only takes 10 out of 10 trades according to my checklist. Make it public. Get an accountability partner. Join a community. Get yourself a coach, a trader coach that can hold you accountable, and add consequences. That if I break my rule, I'm going to donate $50 to an organization that I don't agree with. Or I'm literally going to burn $10 as an example, right? You got to do a forfeit, or you restrict yourself from something you enjoy. And rewards as well. Like if I follow my process for 20 sessions, I'm going to treat myself. So if there's a gym that you really like, it's very expensive, or somewhere that you really want to go and it's quite expensive, when you follow your trading rules for 20 sessions, go purchase that day pass. Go spoil yourself. Go to the spa. Get yourself a massage. Buy yourself those trainers. Upgrade whatever it is you need to upgrade. Treat yourself. Yeah. Or just go for a nice coffee at a nice restaurant. You can even go by yourself. We behave in line with the story we tell ourselves. Remember, the stories that you keep telling yourself, that voice in your head, you're going to behave, you're going to end up listening to that voice. So tell the story that protects your capital. Change the narrative. Because language rewires behavior. Say things like this before every session and write it down. Say it out loud. So if price hasn't tagged my level, I stay away. And missing a trade doesn't cost me money. Forcing a trade does cost me money. Say this as well. When I hit minus 1R, I cut my size on the next trade. I cut my size by 25% or 50%. So whenever I take a loss, I immediately reduce my risk on the next trade on the same day. Yeah, because usually the next trade after a loss is usually another losing trade. Yeah. So repeat these until they feel automatic. Your brain will fire these lines faster than your urges. So that's how NLP anchors work. So you got to write these down. You got to say them out loud. And high performers, they rehearse these things under pressure before they perform. And traders, you guys should be doing the same. You should be mentally rehearsing. Visualize the urge, visualize the loss, visualize yourself hitting the stop and locking out. See yourself being calm. Visualize yourself breathing and visualize yourself walking away. When it happens in real time, your brain is going to say, oh, I've been here before. I know what to do. It's like a deja vu. That's how you make the right behavior automatic. So I want you guys to use this protocol. Yeah. And this protocol is really, really powerful. You want to visualize in your pre-session for 3 minutes. Visualize the urge. Visualize yourself breathing, staying calm. Visualize yourself following your checklist. And visualize yourself avoiding the bad trades, avoiding invalid trades. Yeah. You need to mentally rehearse your exits and your validation rules, not just your entries. You've got to drill this stuff into you. Practice it. Say out loud. Right? Okay, looks like I've got a bit of a sound issue. I'm going to try and change my mic, see if that works. Okay. Okay, I'm checking my mic. I'm checking my mic, guys. Just give me a sec. Let's see. Oh, how do I change mic? It's not showing me. It's not letting me change the mic, guys. Are we back yet? Is it working yet? Okay, test. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2, 3. All right, let me try and. Should I try go and come back? All right. Be right back, guys. Give me 2 minutes. Okay, testing. I've changed my mic now. How's that? Okay. I'll, all right. Looks like we are potentially back in. I'll just wait a moment for things to get back to normal. All right. Looks like we're good to go. I'll go ahead and share my screen. All right. We're back in, guys. Okay. So I wanna I want you to think about journaling as something simple and powerful. Yeah. Journaling shouldn't be about writing long essays. So before your session, think about making an intention, write the intention down. And also what is the goal? What are your risk? What are you willing to accept as risk today? And have different scenarios. If price goes up, what are you going to do? If it comes back down, what are you going to do? If it goes down, what are your actions? And if it comes back, etc. You need to have these scenarios played out. And after each trade, you want to review in your post trade analysis. What setup was it? What risk did you take? And did you follow your rules? And start tagging your emotions. Did you experience any FOMO, any tilt? Were you just feeling calm? Then once a week, review. What rules did I break the most? How can I add friction towards these urges? How can you create these barriers towards gambling? This isn't a diary, it's your anti-gamble feedback loop. And numbers don't lie. That's why I make scorecards and habit trackers for my clients. You need to track your rule adherence percentage, and you want to aim for 85% or more. You need to track things like your average risk per trade, your win rate per setup, your performance of the day. You want to track your habits, how you're feeling. Did you do your pre-session? And most importantly, track your breach count. You want to aim for 0 breaches over 20 sessions. And you want to celebrate process, not profit. That's what the scorecard is for. You. When you see your score above 85, celebrate it. Share it with your coach, with your community. And when your rule score is 100%, even if you're break even or you've lost a trade, you've won, because profit follows process. One of my clients, Nate, used to blow past his daily stop whenever he was down. And after installing some lockout rules and the urge protocol, where he had to breathe, where he had to have his checklists, he hasn't breached. There was a period of time where he didn't breach for around 7 weeks. And now he's had over $30,000 in payouts. And his biggest win is that he can finally sleep at night. This is the power of systems, not willpower, not luck, systems. Now, I'm going to give you guys a case study from one of my clients where the problem was they had 6 breaches a month, about 12 hours in drawdown. And we added 3 things: alerts, 10 out of 10 checklist, and a lockout at -2R. What was the result? 0 breaches for 30 sessions, plus 5R net recovery. Same strategy, different behavior. Now that's the difference between gambling and professional trading. Now I want you to start with some drills from tomorrow, yeah? The 2 timer, yeah? So I'm going to explain this to you guys. Spend 10 minutes planning before the session and 10 minutes reviewing after. Okay? This is a drill. And I want you to create a cold state contract. Yeah, sign your daily stop loss rule before you start. So write it down. What is your daily stop rule? When, how many trades you're going to take, what risk you're going to take, and sign the contract. And there's another drill I'm going to give you, that before you enter a trade, I want you to have the 3 breath rule. So there's no click until 3 slow breaths are completed and your checklist is complete. So the checklist that you have for your entry drill needs to be complete, and you need to take 3 slow deep breaths. Do these drills. These are tiny reps. Over time, you're going to have this is going to have a massive impact. It starts compounding. And it's boring. But this is like You build boring consistency, because boring makes you rich. You don't get rich quick, you get rich slow. Now, I've got a challenge for you guys. And this challenge is that for the next 14 days, you're going to write your plan, you're going to write your checklist, you're going to set your platform caps. You're going to track your rule adherence. You're going to just give yourself a score out of 100. And you're going to enforce lockouts. And you're also going to add an urge protocol and weekly review. So this is being aware of the urge, reframing it, and doing your breathing. Do this for the next 14 days. The goal is 0 breaches for 14 days straight. You're going to see a massive transformation, not just in your trading, but in your confidence as well. So we need to close the loop, guys. Today, I showed you the anti-gambling operating system, which is plan, protocol, proof, protection, the 4 Ps. And you now have the blueprint. But if you want the actual templates that I've used, if you want the accountability, and you want the systems installed step by step, then you got to reach out to me. You got to be part of my program. And this is where we protect your account, we build consistency, and we scale your payouts. So the question is, are you ready to stop gambling and start trading like a professional? You can reach me on Instagram on rodrigo.trader.coach. So we'll spend the next few minutes. I'll go through some of your questions. Happy to go through those with you guys. So those on YouTube, I'm looking for your questions. It's been my pleasure. I'm really glad you guys got lots of value from this. I told you guys to take notes. I told you guys that I'm going to giving you guys some very important information today. What I would recommend, if you are part of any trading community, I suggest that you share this video with them. I cover some really important stuff here. So yes, I have a template for the scorecard, all of the metrics, journals. I have templates for it all, but this is just for my clients. But there's some great journals out there. You can build great journals with software like TradeZella, for example, Edgewonk. You can build these out. But the scorecard is something that my team and I, we've developed ourselves. There's a question here. In what ways does overtrading blur the line between trading and gambling? It's simple. That does the trade meet your entry criteria? If it doesn't, then you're gambling. So when you don't have a clear, when you don't have clear SOPs, clear rules, then there's a blur. That's the blur. And you're gonna default to gambling. That's the problem. Is that the brain will default to what it's comfortable with, to what it knows, to what it's been conditioned. Any more questions? I like that. Yeah. Charts don't make a trader, systems do. Powerful quote right there. So, what kind of rules do you guys have in your checklist? Or what kind of rules are missing for you guys? Let me know in the chat. Do you guys have any more questions in regards to journaling? What kind of rules? Okay, we have a question here. Can you tell me how you manage your psychology after a losing day? Great question. Yeah. So it's important to have a protocol on a losing day where when you hit a certain limit, when you hit the cap, let's say it's 2 losses or 2R. Once you hit that cap, you need to repeat this process over and over again. And that is, you're going to close your charts and you're going to spend 1 minute breathing. You're going to breathe in. You can do box breathing for 4 seconds. In, 4 seconds, hold, 4 seconds out, 4 seconds, hold, 4 seconds in. You can do that for 1 minute. Or if you're feeling really emotional, then you do a 3-second breath in, hold for 1.5 seconds, breathe out slowly out your mouth for 7 seconds. So 3, 1.5, 7 seconds, 1.5, 3, breathe in, 1.5, out for 7 seconds. What you're doing is you're calming yourself down. Then I would like you to go for a walk. Yeah, go for a walk. Don't take your phone. Don't listen to anything. Just walk for 10 minutes. You know, this kind of protocol is very effective. And when you come back, then journal. Finish your journaling. What setup you took? What was your risk parameters? What did you feel? How did you control yourself? What did you score yourself? Did you follow all your checklists? Yeah. And then note it all down and review that once a week. Yeah. That's how I manage my psychology after losing a trade. There's a question here. What is your take on drawdown? Do you scale down or keep your regular size until you back at break even. If I'm a sensitive trader, if I'm very emotional in my trading, then I'm going to reduce my risk. Okay? That's what I'll do. And if I'm very calm, if I'm composed, if I know all I need to do is keep trading, and I'm very good with following my rules, then I'll keep the risk the same. But it's always best practice to reduce your risk after 2 or 3 losses. Yeah. How much risk per trade? I would start off with, during an evaluation stage, 1% risk max. And then when you're funded, reduce it to 0.5% risk. Yeah. So once you're funded, reduce it. That's what I would suggest as a standard practice. Yeah. My pleasure, guys. I'm glad that you guys are finding lots of value here. I'm glad that I'm answering your questions. Any final questions before we wrap up? If no, no worries. Like I said, you can reach out to me on Instagram. It's rodrigo.trader.coach. I've got lots of content on there. I've got content on YouTube under Funded Trader Coaching, so you can find more content there too. All right. And we can continue the conversation there. I'm really glad it was helpful. It's my pleasure, guys. There's another question. How much time you hold those A+ trades? Great question. And the answer is at least twice as long as your losers. So you should have software that tells you how long your average duration of holding trades is. So how long do you hold winning trades for, and how long do you hold losing trades for? Look at the average. Your average winning trade should be double your losing trade. So trade duration, the length is very, very important. That's how long you should be holding your A+ setups. Winning trades twice as long as your losing trades. And your winning trades need to be twice as big as your losing trades. Yeah? Remember that. And if you have even more than that, wow, even better. So know your stats, know your trade duration average. Do you always hold winning positions until TP, or sometimes manually interrupt it? It depends on what my average duration is. So, for example, if my average losing trade is 15 minutes and my average winning trade is 30 minutes, then if I've been holding a trade for 45 minutes to 60 minutes and it's near my TP, I'm going to close that trade, because I know that after 30 minutes, the probability of winning goes down according to my data. So this question, JRN, this question will be answered based on your data, on your trade duration data. How many trades should I take in one day? See if you're disciplined enough to take one trade a day, one bullet a day. Do you have that discipline? Where did I learn trading and who was your inspiration? I have many people that have inspired me in trading. And I learned to trade from different mentors. So I've had the privilege of working with profitable traders that have had over 10 years experience in trading, and I've been mentored by them. I've learned so much from these guys. I've also take inspiration from traders in podcasts such as the Chat with Traders podcast, Words of Wisdom podcast. I've taken inspiration from the books by Jack Schwager, Unknown Market Wizards in particular. I've taken great inspiration from the Market Wizards series. And I also take great inspiration from trading psychologists like Dr. Brett Steenberger and Mark Douglas. What to do to have a breakthrough as a break-even trader? This is a great question, Mon. As a break-even trader, this is a good place to be. This is positive. This is great. And the simple fix is figuring out what your losing trades look like and figuring out what your best trades look like. And it's about reducing the mistakes, having clear invalidation rules, and it's about holding your winning trades longer than your losing trades. So your winners should be at least 2 times bigger than your losers. Follow these steps and you will finally become profitable if you are at break even. Why am I wearing 2 watches? So this one tells me the time, and this is my whoop. So this is a fitness strap. So it gives me all of my stats for sleep, exercise, breathing, lots of stats. So there's a question here from Anas about how to deal with FOMO and overtrading. I've actually answered this in previous live streams with ThinkCapital. I've also answered this question on my YouTube channel. I've literally made a video on FOMO and overtrading. So my YouTube channel is Funded Trader Coaching. Yeah. So Funded Trader Coaching, that's where you'll find the answer to dealing with FOMO and overtrading. And I've got some other videos in there as well for you guys, all right? Whoa, what is this water breathing? Yeah, let me know as well. All right, guys. ThinkCapital community and team, thank you so much for today. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I look forward to our next session. Like I said, you can reach me on rodrigo.trader.coach on Instagram, or you can check me out on YouTube on Funded Trader Coaching. Okay? Thank you so much once again. Good luck with your trading, guys, and stay disciplined. Take care, everyone.